Good morning, my name is Wahid, I'm a Dutch photographer and filmmaker, and on March the 2nd I'll be going to Spain for a 5-day hiking trip. Recently I was lucky enough to find a Nikon Z9 in stock here in the Netherlands and I bought it. And now I'm thinking which camera should I bring on a 5-day hiking trip, because I'll be carrying everything in this backpack. So yeah, I thought I'd share my thought process with you about that, because it's not so obvious which camera to bring, and I'm also quite excited about this backpack. I bought it online used, and yeah, I thought I'd go for a little test run, see how it is with the weight. On a side note, I think that my backpack right now is actually heavier than it will be when I'm actually hiking in Spain. Here it is, the Z9. Quite crazy if you ask me. It still feels unreal to be holding this and to like have a Z9, a Nikon flagship camera. I never thought I'd have that. But yeah, here we are. The Nikon Z9 versus the Nikon Z6 II. Which one should I pick on a 5-day hiking trip? The Z9 is obviously the new and exciting camera just out. It's even hard to get one in stores. It's vastly superior but twice as heavy. And on a 5-day hiking trip, every bit of weight saved makes quite a big difference. Alright, let's continue this hike and see if we can find a nice and quiet place to compare the two cameras. The biggest elephant in the room is of course the weight difference between these two cameras. This one is about 1.34 kilograms and this one is about 0.65. So the Z9 is more than 2 times heavier than the Z6 II. I think that when I'm on a trip I'd be using a smaller and lighter camera much more. The threshold to get it out of my bag will be much lower and thus I'd shoot more and take more photos. It's also much easier to carry a smaller and lighter camera on your shoulder or with a neck strap. This one wouldn't even fit comfortably with a Peak Design clip. Also, with a lighter camera it will be easier for you to hike, more comfortable, and you'll be able to walk longer distances. If you know anything about these two cameras, then you know that the Z9 has crazy good autofocus. It's nothing like I've ever used before. It's so snappy, it's so fast. It's just incredible to use it. But on this hiking trip I won't be photographing things like wildlife or fast moving subjects. So yeah, it's nothing that a Z6 II won't be able to handle. I'll mainly be focusing on landscapes and a few portraits here and there. The Nikon Z9 has endlessly more and better video capabilities than the Z6 Mark II. But I'm not going on a video trip. I probably won't even be making a video. Maybe I'm making some clips here and there, but any video that I take or make will just be for personal use. So it's easy to just leave this behind and go with the video capabilities of the Z6 Mark II. The Z9 is new and hot. Everybody wants one, but there just isn't enough stock in all the camera stores. And the same goes for the batteries. I tried to buy a spare battery, but I've looked at so many camera stores, also in foreign countries, and I couldn't find any. They just aren't in stock. Of course, the pandemic also isn't helping, and it's probably one of the main reasons. But yeah, that's also something to consider. For the Z6 II, on the other hand, I already have plenty of spare batteries, so that too gives a little bit more peace of mind. But having said that, the Z9 has incredible battery life. I'm pretty sure that I can make it last the whole trip, especially when I'm more thoughtful with the photos that I take. And also I won't be sleeping outside or in tents or anything, so yeah, there will be plenty of opportunities to charge the battery. And both of these cameras can be charged with a power bank through USB-C. As you can see, the Z9 is a much bigger body, it looks way more professional, and thus it would draw more attention, which also means it's more interesting for thieves. Now, I'm not too afraid of getting robbed, both cameras are insured, but yeah, of course it would still be a bad situation and it's best to avoid it. Also, after a long day of hiking along the northern coast of Spain, I can imagine that we'd like to go for a swim after the hike. And yeah, I'd feel bad and nervous to leave the camera behind in my backpack on the beach. It would be like a very easy prey for anyone. Yeah, if the Z6 II would be stolen, it would also still suck and be horrible, but far less horrible than when the Z9 would be stolen. Hey guys, I forgot to talk about one of the most attractive features for me about the Z9. The 45 megapixels versus the 24.5. That's one of the main reasons why I would like to bring the Z9 along with me. But is it worth it? Is it worth the extra weight? Right, so with 45 megapixels you have an insane amount of cropping capability. You could argue that you could leave your 85mm lens back home. Because when you shoot at 50 and you crop into about 85, well, why carry an 85? Of course it's not the same, but yeah, perhaps it could save you some weight. I'm gonna take a picture with the Z9 and then I'll take the same one with the Z6 and see what the difference is. Okay, so this is the Z9 photo and this is the Z6. At first glance you can't tell much of a difference, but when we zoom in, just look at all the detail on this platework of this building. And when we jump over to the Z6 II photo, you can't see any of those details. And the same goes for these buildings. So this is the Z9, Z6 II, Z9, Z6 II. The Z9 just has way more detail and resolution. The difference in resolution also becomes very visual when we jump over to Photoshop. So this is the Z9 photo and this is the Z6 II. Just look at all that extra resolution and detail that you get from the Z9. Alright, let's go back to our adventure in the forest. Yeah, this feels like a nice spot for a little break. You know what? I might as well just finish the video right here, because I think that I've said most of the things that I wanted to say. And then I can actually start doing the hike, because I've been taking quite a few breaks to make this video, so I'm not really tired yet. And yeah, so what's my conclusion? The main reasons for me to pick the Z6 II over the Z9 on this particular trip is the weight savings, the ease of use and the peace of mind. The main goal of this trip isn't photography. I'm also not going on any kind of paid job or whatever, so there's no real reason to bring the vastly superior but much heavier Nikon Z9. And just like with any job, there's a particular tool for that given job which works best. And in this case, it's the Nikon Z6 II for me. But don't pin me down to it, because the Z9 is very exciting. Maybe I'll change my mind last minute, but yeah, we'll see. Hope you enjoyed this video, hope you enjoy the scenery, and have a good day.